Welcome to April and Debbie Dish the Truth on Weight Loss, where we share the raw, real, and sometimes messy truth about our weight loss journeys.
I am Debbie, a weight loss coach who has lost 100 pounds and have been living my life in maintenance for 4 years.
And I'm April, a weight loss coach, currently down 79 pounds and continuing my journey to lose 100 more.
Together, we'll explore the ups, downs, and everything in between, showing you that lasting weight loss is possible no matter where you are on your path.
Absolutely. So this week, we have a question from Laura, and she wants to know the secrets of maintenance. She wants to know the secrets of having 20 pounds to lose and to get to maintenance and how to keep it off. And she wants to know from you specifically, Debbie, as you have lost 100 pounds and you have kicked off your weight.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you the answer is so easy, but implementing it might not be. Do the same thing that you've been doing to lose the rest of your weight, right? Like you already know how to lose your weight, and now it's just a continuation of that, but with one big, I think, probably caveat. Like our thought, and April and I talk before we start recording, and we really should record our pre-conversation because there's so much
They could
good
be
in
premium
it.
access.
Yes. Um, but our thoughts, like April said, when we were talking about this, that those 20 pounds still feel the same as the 100 pounds I had to lose. It's still the totality of what you need to lose. So don't focus on, oh my gosh, I have 20 more pounds to lose. Today, I am showing up to do what I need to lose 1 pound. And we talked about mental rehearsal, and I'll let April talk about that more because I think it's so important. But, just to remember, it's that 1 pound still, you've lost however much you've already lost, so you know how to lose. It's changing that thought in your brain that this 20 pounds or this 10 pounds is going to be harder than the last. It's not, it's just a continuation of what you've been doing.
Yes, as Debbie said, you said it so perfectly. And it's true. It's really just how we're viewing it. And I compared it, it's different because you're so further along on your journey. But I feel like it's the same way we get wrapped up in our head when we have a larger amount of weight to lose. Cause I know
Mm.
my thoughts are like, oh, I had, when I started my journey, over 200 pounds that I wanted to get off my body. And how do you even wrap your mind around accomplishing that? Your head starts to go in a million directions of everything you have to do. But you're not going to do everything at one time. It's
Mhm.
steps that you build upon and move along your journey. And I also think there's a part of the excitement to say, I'm done, right? I've
Yes,
gotten
yes.
there. At the same time, we're never really done. So it's like a facade. It's not, it's a mirage. There's no done. And just as you said, Debbie, like everything you're doing it forever. You're
Yeah.
drinking the water and you're going to bed to get enough sleep. You're resting, you're making plans or whatever you're choosing to do, following keto or fast, whatever program or tools you're using, it's going to be that way for the rest of your life to maintain what you wanted to achieve. So I think just taking the desperation of wanting to get there today is really going to be helpful in terms of how you approach it, right?
Yes, and you touched on, 2 very important things, I think, is that it isn't done when you reach maintenance, and, we're so in a hurry to get to the end
Mhm.
that we forget everything that we have been doing to get us this far, and we feel like, "Oh my god, we're so close to the end, there's gotta be something different for the" No, it's not, and for me, when I was at my last 10, 15 pounds, I was there for a long time because I was afraid to stop dieting or not dieting because I didn't diet, I changed my lifestyle, but I was afraid to be done because we for 30 years, I had been working on weight loss. What am I gonna
Mhm.
work on when I don't have weight loss to work on. So I know for me, I took longer to lose that last 10 or 20 pounds because I didn't know what I would do after, right? Like I didn't know what my after work was. And my after work is the same. It's just from a different mindset, you know? Now I'm not losing, I'm maintaining, which is just as important as the journey of losing.
Mhm. And you know what I thought of as you were talking about is the journey, right? So we're so fixated on the end goal. It's just like when you're in college or when you're planning a wedding, anything, any big event that you're trying to achieve for yourself in your life, you just want to get there. I just want the wedding day. I just want graduation day. But then when the day comes, you're like, oh man, if I could just have that planning back, or if I could just have that last year of school with all my friends back. Because part of the journey is the anticipation of getting to the goal. That is part. So that kind of ties into what we talked about last time about making it fun. I know losing weight necessarily doesn't equate to fun in the brain as the first thought, but if this is a part of your day-to-day life and it's going to be for the rest of your life, then finding a way to make it fun, like we talked about, whether it was stickers or journal, however you want to do it, but the journey is something to embrace and find a partnership with it, right? And that's part of, I
Yes.
feel like, how I managed, how I came to terms and not looking at last year as a negative anymore, because as I discussed before, I maintained for last year. So I started last year at 307, I ended it at 305. So, and then I thought about it like, but I still lived such a great life last year. I traveled multiple places, multiple times, had great times with my husband and my friends, and I met new people and new friends. And there's so much more that happened last year aside from me just maintaining my weight. So I think if we can get past that, alls I see is the end goal of what number I need to be, and really look at what you're doing day to day and finding the joy in that, whether it could be getting an accountability partner. Excuse me. I've recently just started bumping up my activity with accountability people. And that's made it so much more fun this week. Just checking in and sending little memes about water. And it's just changes it. It makes it more fun, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It does I mean, because Kevin and I just went away on a vacation and we had quite a long drive from the airport to our final destination. And we were so excited to get there. But along the way, like it was so beautiful, our
Yeah.
4 hour ride from the airport to where we were staying. And if I had just closed my eyes and said, I don't care how I'm getting there, I just need to get there, I would have missed out on everything that we saw. And that's the same, like you're saying, that's the same thing with our journeys because we're learning every single day, whether we're doing showing up how we want to, or if we're finding ways that we could improve upon later, it
Mhm.
is all going to help us in maintaining or continuing to lose. Like you spent a year and you lost 2 pounds, but in that year, I know how much you and I have discussed, how much you've learned in that, that's going to support you on your journey to the rest and living in maintenance. And some people could say, well, I only lost this, but it's not I only, it's I did. I
Yes.
I completed that. And we
Mhm.
had talked about the changes in words. Yesterday, I came across a plan that I had made from January 26th of 2019. So it was one of my very first plans on my journey to losing weight. And then there was a worksheet I used about, it was called Happy Scale. And it's like, what did you do this week? To support your goals. And it didn't have to be, I lost 10 pounds. I'm so proud of myself. It was, I drank more water. I got a little bit more sleep. And so as I reflected on that, those worksheets from 5, 6 years ago now, I realized how insignificant the changes I embraced may be to some people, but how powerful they were to me. Like when I read 6 years ago that I should have done this. I could have done that. I should have. There were a lot of should haves. And now I don't talk about I should have. I talk about what I want to do and what I choose to do and how that's going to set me up. So, and I know that you have some techniques that you use too to just reframe certain thoughts.
I do. I think we all create them as we go. And I know you mentioned mental rehearsal in the beginning. I definitely want to talk about that because that's a big thing that's helped me a lot. But the other thing that you just said that I have to tag on to is you can choose. And that's
Mm,
something that I have started to, probably for the last couple of years, really keep telling myself, I have a choice. Every moment, I have a choice. I have a choice whether to do movement or not. I have a choice whether to drink water or not. I have a choice to eat the cookie or not eat the cookie. These are all choices, and neither answer is wrong, right?
mm-hmm.
Just
Yes.
depends in that moment what you want to focus on. And some moments I choose not to do the eat the cookie. And some moments I choose to do the activity. It's just, but we all get to a point where when we can feel good about why we're choosing it, that matters, right? And this is kind
Mm,
of with the mental rehearsal, what I started to do. I learned about mental rehearsal when I went through the life and health coaching certification program, but then I realized that this is something we have been talking about for a long time. Well, I think we've been talking about a long time, but not really calling it anything. So I don't know. Debbie, were you ever in Weight Watchers in your life? I can't remember.
yes, I have been in Weight
Right.
Watchers.
So I remember the big tip that they would always tell us, if you're going out to dinner, go online or look at the menu ahead of time, see what they have, look up the points, plan what you're going to have in advance. That's mental rehearsal, right? So if you have a dinner that you're going out to, or you have even an event, a wedding. So for me, and the thing that I am using for my mental rehearsal is the letters. And I talked about those, I think the last podcast
Last
about
episode,
my
yeah.
mom, and that was a version of an exercise of mental rehearsal. Future letters can be used for mental rehearsal because you are writing down how you want to show up for yourself.
Mm,
And the more you think about it and the more you play it in your mind, that's going to be an easier action to make in the future. Just like when I start waking up in the morning to do my movement, I mentally visioned myself getting up out of bed. Like literally, that's what I put in my head every night before I fell asleep. I was like, I'm going to get up, I'm going to get dressed, I'm going downstairs, I'm going to work out. And it's just talking to yourself, playing it, seeing it. And it's also kind of the other thing with, I realized the more I talked to myself, the more things kind of just they easily came to the forefront, right?
mm-hmm.
And they stayed laster. Have you ever used mental rehearsal in your, I'm guessing, in your journey?
Yes, I
Yeah.
have. And you know what? And I joke about this all the time. Like, I don't know all the terms. So yes, I have done mental rehearsal.
Sure.
I just do it. So
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So do you have an example of how it was helpful for you? Especially when
well,
you got to the point more towards your end? Because I know Laura really is at that point and she really wants to achieve that. Were you able to, I know you didn't have a name for it, but can you think of an example that you were like, was there ever a trip or a dinner that you just kind of replayed in your mind about how was that helpful for you to do?
I think it was so helpful for me to do because like we can envision how we want to be and who we want to be when we get to goal. So we see that version of ourselves, but we don't always remember what we need to do from where we are today to get to that. And that's where that mental rehearsal comes in. Like, how will I live when I am at maintenance? And when I go out to eat, I am going to show up for myself with, you know, some people may think this is crazy, but I would put 10 tortilla chips down if we went out for Mexican. Like, that's what I was going to have because
I can
otherwise,
top your tortilla. I can top your tortilla
you
crazy.
can. What is
I
yours?
can. So when I have gone out with Kevin for Mexican, and of course everybody loves the chips. So because it's
Yes.
my husband, I can feel free to do this. I don't know if you would want to do it with a group of friends or whatever, but so the basket's there and I would just break off like a corner of one chip because they're, I don't know where you go, but where we go, they're like 10 inches big. They're so
Yeah.
big, like half
Yeah.
a tortilla fried up. So I would just break off a piece and then dip it and chew it and drink water or soda or whatever I had, Diet Coke. But the action of taking a chip for me felt more like I was still doing the fun part of the basket. I don't know if that makes sense. So, and I finally asked him, like, do you mind that I'm just breaking off the corners of these chips? And
But
of
it
course, he
makes
did not
perfect
care,
sense.
but it made me feel, but at the end of it, I only had a few chips compared to like eating 10 whole tortillas. But you taking 10 chips and putting them on your plate is your version of what worked for you. And I think that's so great. And I think that's the thing I think we talk about a lot and we keep weaving into our message is that find what works for you. There's
Mhm.
no wrong way, no right way. If it makes you feel good and it makes the experience enjoyable for you, that is what you do, right?
That is so what you do, and, you were talking about making your choices, and I
Mhm.
we when we are doing what we should be doing, we are doing what we should be doing because somebody else told us that that's what we should be doing. When we are choosing to do something, it's because what we're telling ourselves. And who better to tell ourselves what we need to lose weight than ourselves, And again, April and I just totally subscribe to the belief that do what works for you. I may have lost my weight using four basics, and, somebody else may count macros and somebody else may cut out carbs. It doesn't mean that what you're doing is right or wrong. You're doing what works for your body. And April, you said this at the beginning of our podcast is, you know, you got to do what works for you, not for today, but for the rest of your life. So if you are restricting calories, do you want to do that at 80 years old? I mean, that is, we get to decide how we want to lose weight, how we want to live our life, but it needs to be something that you can see doing when you're 80 years old and with a bad back more than just today.
Oh,
A bad back all the time. But it's
yeah.
learning to trust ourselves and know when we're making a decision that supports our goals in a healthy, happy, loving way, it's okay.
Yes. I've been seeing a lot of when I scroll, a lot of messages
Mm,
coming up from because there's so many people out there trying to help quote unquote help people lose weight and all this stuff and all these messages and it goes to what you were just saying about what feels good to you. And there was this I don't know who the person was. I did not look into it, but it was a person who popped up on my little scrolling messages and she was saying counting calories is not normal. But she just kept reiterating that you don't have to live life that way. It's not normal. It's not normal to count calories. And she just kept saying it's not normal, I think like 10 times in her little 20-minute or 20-second clip, right? Which I love the message of you don't have to count calories to be in tune with your body. And you do want to be in tune with your body and recognize hunger and enough and not eating past where you're so full and all of these things that our body does tell us. And I think that's a great message. But what really upset me about her message was it's not normal to count calories. Well, now you're just automatically telling somebody out there that they're not normal and they're wrong. And I don't agree with that message. And I think, again, there's keto, there's fasting, intermittent fasting, there's low carb, there's high carb, there's high protein. Look, there's anything and everything. There's all kinds of ways to lose weight if that's a goal of yours. And all of it can be normal if you feel good doing it. That is what I want people, and I think Debbie, you feel the same, want people to understand that if you feel good with your day, you feel energized, you feel clear minded, you're focused, you're not feeling hungry and distracted. If you're stomach is, I have lots of stomach sensitivities and issues. So if your stomach's feeling good and you're not bloated, like all these things that your body's feeling good, whatever you're doing, it's right for you. And it's
Mm.
normal for you. And that's what matters.
And it's so true because who can say what is normal for me? Like my normal is totally different than your normal.
Mhm.
And so we get to define our normal. I have a lot of friends who are on weight loss medications right now. And when they tell me they're on weight loss meds, it's like, I'm on weight loss
Yes.
medication. And I'm like, don't shame yourself. You're on, I mean, I suffer from anxiety. I have for years and years, and it went untreated for so long. And I take anxiety medications. I have no shame in that. That is helping the short circuit in my brain so I can be more productive and involved in my life without living in fear. That's what medication is for. And if you are taking any of these weight loss medications, you're not taking the easy way out. You are using a tool that is available to you to lose weight. It quiets your chatter. If you don't have chatter, or what did you say, critter
Well,
earlier?
the school that I went through for the certification program, they refer to that as your critter brain. And essentially, it's just like when your brain goes in all different directions at one time and you get so overwhelmed and you can't really focus to make a decision. And so we learned techniques on how to, bring yourself down and quiet the critter brain.
Quiet the critter brain,
Yeah.
which is so true. Like my medication quiets my critter brain for my anxiety. People who are on weight loss meds, it quiets their brain for hearing all of the food. I had a friend who lost 100 pounds. She had gastric bypass surgery, and so she doesn't think her 100 pounds counts because she didn't do the work. Well, you don't have the 100 pounds. And when you're having that surgery to lose weight, it
A lot
is
of
not the easy way out. It changes a lot that you have to relearn how to live. So you lost 100 pounds. It doesn't matter how you did it as long as it was healthy, loving, and supports your goals. And I mean, that's what we really believe.
yes. Yeah. And I think as Debbie, I know you're a certified life coach, life and health coach, and I am as well. And I think we both agree that our message is the thought work and the things that your brain dishes up throughout the day that makes you feel like you can't do something, or like even if it's you want to go for a promotion, like the next step up in your job, and or you want to leave your job and you're thinking you can't because the message in your brain is telling you you're not good enough or you don't know enough or
Mm,
where am I going to go or will I make enough money? And that's really where the coaching comes in, where you figure out a way to achieve your goals step by step, but also by having supporting yourself. And
mm-hmm.
any the weight loss surgery and the medication, they're all just tools to help you, but absolutely, those people are still doing the work because there are
Yeah.
people who are on medication who I know, and there are people who have had the weight loss surgery and have gained it back or who have not lost weight. That's just a tool, but you as the person still accomplished that weight loss 100%. Absolutely.
100%.
Mhm.
Yes. And so, Laura, April and I could go on talking about weight loss and living your best life all day. But Laura, remember that these 20 pounds, you are going to lose them the same way you've lost all of your other weight. But the thing is to just adjust, it's not my last 20, it's 20 pounds. You are losing 20 pounds and you're starting with what will you do today to lose one? And everything between now and that 20 pounds is teaching you how to live in maintenance too, because you're going to do the same thing.
Yeah, and I also invite Laura. I don't know how much she's lost. I don't think she put it in her question. But the other thing, this is what I have switched, is to like, I've lost 79. Maybe try saying to yourself, I've lost this amount of weight, period. End of sentence. No additional information needed.
Yeah.
And you're continuing to work on more. And
Yeah.
that's fine. But I think the acknowledgement of what you've accomplished will also help push you forward to lose more because I know when I hear myself say I've lost 79 pounds, I'm like, wow, I really have. I can keep going. I know I can do it. I've done this. I can keep going to do more. But if I just took out that first sentence and just kept telling myself I still have 100 pounds to lose, that feels much more defeating to me. It's that,
Yeah.
right? It just
Yes. Yeah,
acknowledge what you have accomplished is going to be a friend to you to push you forward.
absolutely. So another great question, Laura. Thank you so much. And we'd love to have those questions keep coming.
Yes. So with that, we want to mention that we do have an email that if you want to send a question or a topic, anything like that, you just email us at April and Debbie dishthetruth@gmail.com.
Yeah, and you can message us on Facebook. We want to answer your questions. We want to um, just be a cheerleader for you as you go through your weight loss journey. Uh,
Absolutely.
uh, until next week, I hope you all keep blooming.
Yes. And remember to wake up willing and do something that feels good for you.
That is awesome. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.